Hero Goblins in a nutshell. Goblins will be the next hero coming to Clash Royale. You can find them in the Diamond Pass, which if you will be buying, I appreciate using code Abdod as it helps me make videos full time. Their ability spawns 4 goblins for 1 elixir and it's a single use one. Does that mean you can spawn 8 goblins for 3 elixir? Well, not entirely. Once the 4 goblins you spawn die, a flag will drop at the position of the last killed goblin, which you spend 1 elixir on to get 4 more goblins. Yes, you heard this right. I would spend 1 elixir and get 4 goblins. You all know this meme that says, would you rather get $1 or $2? Low-key, this hero is just like, would you rather get 4 goblins or 3 skeletons for 1 elixir? Apart from the balance, this design is honestly a good solution to how confusing a hero ability would be if a swarm card was split. Now, looking at this flag, you will see a timer under it, which if it ends up running out of time, then it would just disappear. But if you press the ability during the duration it has, you will get 4 goblins spawned in its place. Pretty simple, right? Wrong. The flag has some weird interactions. It was actually a nightmare to figure out. First and foremost, if there is a flag on a tile, you can't drop any cards on that tile since it has a hurt box. This is hard to see with troops, but it becomes way more apparent with buildings that it becomes very hard to miss. Since it has a hurt box, spells would work on it, like freeze for example would stop it from spawning goblins. One thing to note though, that if you pressed the ability on a frozen flag and the timer ran out before the freeze ended, you will still get your goblins. Also, the freeze doesn't carry on from the normal goblins, so feel free to use your ability if they froze them before they die. What's odd is that when it comes to spells, it's wildly inconsistent. For example, not only does clone not work on hero goblins, but also it doesn't work on the flag despite freeze working on it. Rage doesn't make the flag spawn faster, so it's a waste here. Lightning will target the flag as if it's a troop, and let me tell you why that's important. From various testings I did, the flag isn't coded to have the same HP as the goblins. The hidden HP stat it has allows it to tank a lightning bolt for a musketeer. Actually, the HP is so high it tanks for a whole ass bowler, but it isn't high enough to tank for everything. As you can see, the golem got hit first here. I used the towers to determine how much HP it has as a hidden stat, and when the tower was above 2500 HP, it was struck first. But when I dropped it below 2500, it hit the flag before, so it's safe to say that the benchmark is around 2500 HP. Overall, I don't get paid enough to figure out the exact number, but just avoid using lightning whenever there is a flag around. Here is where things get complicated. Vines, despite working like lightning, doesn't really detect it. Hovering the spell shows that it should hit it, but it ends up doing nothing. Same goes for Void, as it will still deal single target damage despite having 2 targets inside it. Furthermore, chaining attacks like Electro Dragon will chain on the flag and waste a full attack on it. Basically, anything that can chain on invisible cards will chain on the flag. But things like Electro Wizard that needs to see their target won't hit it, so he would get both hits on the balloon in this context. Another weird inconsistency here is that an evolved Electro Dragon doesn't chain on this flag infinitely, or even once. The flag code must be all over the place, not gonna lie. Enough talking about the flag, let's talk about the goblins that spawn out of it. These goblins are considered a different troop, so Evo Battleground can kill both waves when it originally pushes each troop only once. Theoretically, Log should be able to kill both too, but the spawn time is too long for it to be possible. Wait, low-key though. The existence of the second wave of goblins makes spelling your goblins a stupid idea because for just 1 elixir you can undo the effects of their arrows. So using them on defense is now extremely safe in a disgusting way if I'm being honest with y'all. Even against Electro Giant, using 1 elixir for 4 extra goblins is worth it because they will get 2 stabs each, accounting for more damage than a lightning for just 1 elixir. Not just this, but also against self-destructing troops, this ability will guarantee a counter push because you'd be dumb to not take 4 goblins for 1 elixir. If they counter your offensive goblins with a squishy ranged card, you can technically pair the second wave with an Ice Spirit to take them out on their side. But not just an Ice Spirit. Low-key, a bandit combined with the second wave can pose a nice threat on so many cards, it could be worth using. People usually split swarm cards to take a defensive position and avoid giving spell value to their opponent. In the case of hero goblins, I wouldn't recommend it because they can just push on one side and never worry about the second wave because it will be on the other lane. Besides, you have no reason to split your regular goblins anyway because they offer zero pressure when split, whereas when there's 4 of them, they will get a few stabs on the tower if they don't respond to them. Despite being cracked on defense, I would be a bit careful because the flag spawning on the tile the last goblin died on makes it not possible for the second wave to surround splash cards. Also, the time delay on the flag spawning and the goblin spawning from the flag itself can mess up a few defenses, so work on your timings. Countering them is gonna be miserable honestly, especially if you use spells, because all this does is give them a 1 elixir goblin barrel with 4 goblins that will force you to burn a second spell. Oh, 2 spells are out of rotation? And if you just counter them with troops, let's say a lumberjack, he's gonna run off and they will cheese defend it with a cheap card and a cannoneer. Then they will spawn another set of goblins to force you to play another troop, which, like you can guess, will get cheesed by another cheap card with a cannoneer. Slow cards like Polar can work out really well because they can't wait too long or their flag will disappear. Buildings can sorta do okay because they stay in their place, so spawning a second wave of goblins can be a waste. Although non-splashing buildings will likely get destroyed if not supported properly, so it's at best an equal trade for the opponent. Kiting them can be effective because it would get both towers attacking the second wave, but the timing on it is kinda difficult to pull off. On the enemy side, there isn't a single good trade that I can think of to counter them, so just don't make stupid pushes. Like for example, if you're playing Giant Double Prince, you likely don't want to ever push without a Dark Prince. Bait decks, especially Hyper Bait, are gonna have a blast with 9 bait cards because apparently 8 are not enough. Besides that, I can see some bridge spam decks running this as they can use them to tank for their cards and respawn goblins later on. I also think they provide some crazy pressure when paired with cards like Royal Ghost and Bandit if you activate them at the right time. Would Lava Hound decks use them? Maybe the ones that use Skeleton Army would swap goblins in, and I have a good reason to think so. First off, not only are the goblins more spell proof, but the hero goblins take this up a notch with the second wave. But also because if they punish you with something small, you would only need 2 elixir to spend on a ground distraction, since you can save that 3rd elixir for offense if you didn't need more ground distraction. For King Tower activations, regular goblins already allowed for a King activation, so nothing changed here. What's unfortunate is that kiting them towards the middle of the arena and kiting the second wave into the King doesn't work due to how squishy they can be. Fisherman can technically be possible if you bank on whether someone dropped a brick on them as a kid, so if they are dumb enough to activate it to give you a King Tower activation, then I guess it would work. Here is the new arena. It shows a garden with some mega minions on the side and roses around. Pretty fitting for Valentine's, which is an irrelevant holiday for Clash players. Here are these sound effects. Why would you... You know what, I'm not even gonna question this. Hyperbait died for 1 season. Let's give them a hero that fits perfectly. Yay, now they can bait your small spells with 9 different things. Please, I beg for this deck to not get revived next season, my dudes.